No, it's getting close. The deadline is in 1 week.
That's right, a week from today.
And have you honed in on, like, all of this? What they are, what they lack, who they might be willing to sell for a part to help them do what? Make a run, get in? Like what? Let's kind of get specific on what this is, if you want.
Yeah. I did a little on Wednesday, some of this.
All right, moving on.
But no, I mean
the Briar starts tonight.
I didn't go long and hard. And I'm not honed in on like I want this guy or not that guy or what. But I think like most observers, I think they almost. I'd be very surprised anyway if they didn't add a depth defenseman, an experienced 30-year-old guy on the blue line. I don't even really care how much money he makes if it's only for a year. I just need a guy to play 16 or 18 minutes just to upgrade, just in case Timmins doesn't come back from his injury real well, or if Kesselring has another problem, because it's just been one thing after another for him this year. And I think they really need another guy that they can trust. And it'll be sheltered minutes. Those top four are going to play the hardest minutes on the team amongst them. And I think you just need an upgrade of what you've got behind them to mix in with Metza and Bryson and again Kesselring. Those are the three guys that are playing those two spots right now while Timmins is still hurt. I think another guy, another Timmins, basically, I guess, is
Twimmins.
Kind of all I'm looking for. I get the impression Sneaky Joe has sort of been crushing on the Tyler Myers idea. His name came up in here a couple of weeks ago, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Amongst us. I like that idea fine. I don't see the Sabres mentioned in that. He's been sitting games since the return. I don't think they had one game. He didn't play in it, and it was thought to be for trade reasons. And there's, no move clause, and Detroit and Dallas and I think another team that I've seen mentioned without any mention of the Sabres. So I don't know if that means anything. It doesn't have to. But, just a player like him, even someone who was highly touted at one time in his career, but is basically just sort of playing out the string as a journeyman. I could plug him in for 15 minutes in the most comfortable, sheltered matchups and feel like, all right, he moves pretty well, moves the puck all right. He's not producing points like he did in the middle of his career or certainly early in his career, but I got other guys for that. So someone like that, to me, would make a lot of sense.
Is, dare I say it, Ristolainen someone like that? At $2.1 million more, both on the last years of their deal?
I think it would be hilarious if they
definitely
did that.
Would be hilarious.
And what I don't know is, if you used him like I'm describing, could that work? Like if you're not counting on him to play 22 minutes against the best competition, could that help you? And I don't know the answer to that because I don't know that we've ever seen him. But I've been following how he's being used in Philadelphia.
I feel like I'm his all-time biggest critic.
Right.
But how could the answer to that be no? How could he not help you in that role?
Right. Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
Maybe you could do better.
Sure.
You probably can do better.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Mm-hmm. Based on whatever, size, money, age, specific role, left, right, I don't know.
Right.
Whatever the other variables
But if I'm
would be.
not asking this guy to do too much, which really that's what I'm building here, then maybe that does work. As long as you don't try to play him, against Sidney Crosby, maybe you're okay.
So what is that, a draft pick?
Yeah, I would think.
Not even a high draft pick, like a third-round draft pick or something?
Shouldn't be a high pick.
Okay. Is that it? Is that it? And, I mean, I'm not loading this question.
I know.
Is that it? And what then am I shooting for? What am I trying to do? Everybody's trying to win it. So the Sabres would say they were trying to win it.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't know what the difference is in this league this year, or at least in the East, between getting in and winning the conference. Like, really, It's pretty live.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, not that you really can do this, like you're not going to intentionally make a move that sort of caps you at a certain point. The games are too random and it's too close. But I don't want to do anything that would sort of mitigate my chances. If you're in it, be in it, is what I'm saying. And if that means a good draft pick, if that means a good prospect, and if that even means like someone up front, I think I want to listen.
Yeah. I think that's...
They're not even in yet.
That's within reason, I think, for sure. When I talked about this on Wednesday, a point I kept making is I think the right now, aside from outside people coming in, like acquisitions, which is what we're talking about, I think the single biggest wild card variable, whatever synonym of that you want, for them right now is Norris. So I feel like Norris is a fantastically talented, productive player. And if he can play these 24 games now and stay healthy in the playoffs, I think they can finish second or third. And I think they can win. They're not, if they get that, they're playing Detroit or Montreal or Boston, most likely, one of those three teams right now.
Coin flip at worst.
Yeah, and even any of the stuff, anybody that's behind there, if they were to get hot and displace one of those teams, provided, of course, it's not you, that's not, whether you're the 3 or the 2 is immaterial. I think that's a matchup you would be live in. And then from there, what are we talking about? We're into the second round. And so I think it's, if you agree with the premise that Norris is enough of a meter mover to me, then adding another guy, like if you could find your way to Jack Quinn is always the guy that I settle on. I feel like of the youngish guys here, he's the one, like the younger guys. Like I'm not eager to move Osland or even Helenus at this point. I would move Quinn because I feel like we might be at his peak here, and it's all right. He's had some good moments. But if I could find an upgrade to his spot and include him in the deal, then I'm talking about ones. I'm talking about draft picks and prospects. I think, I'm talking about making a buyer move more than supplementing my decor with a depth player. I could add a top 6 guy to this team. I think it's not uncalled for, and it would further, to me, make them a team that could go further than just win a round.
There are a fair number of teams, I think this is more true of the East than the West, that are already kind of cooked. Maybe in a week this will be even clearer if everybody plays 4 more games first and we're down to 20 games. How many is it, though? It's not that many. That's what, you got to limit your ideas to teams that are dead. And how many teams is that? Or will that be in a week?
It might be 5 at most in the East.
Okay. Yeah, at most in the East, yes.
Including Ristolainen's Philadelphia Flyers. I feel like Toronto and Florida, Ottawa's in the same boat, I guess. So, maybe I should make it 6 or make it 4.
Is Florida going to dump, though?
I don't know. That's the thing about, at least in the Atlantic, the 3 teams that are the farthest away, Ottawa, Toronto, Florida, I think all to different degrees, but especially Florida because they're who they are, I don't want to rule them out yet. And I would be surprised if they're ruling themselves out. This run for them began, in a year where they didn't win the cup, but they were this team. They were, fighting it out with the Sabres and a bunch of other teams for the last spot in the East, and they got it, and they went all the way to the final.
It's funny, these Sabres teams of the last decade, especially toward the beginning side of the drought, when you're 9 points out, that's Florida, 24 games, 9 points, it's more than it may sound. You've got all these other teams between you and the spot. I'm me already, I'm already wired this way. Like, I'm pretty quick to all right, let's sell it. Let's be sellers. Who do we have, because we're not winning. And that part of that logic always was, can I really win the Stanley Cup? When you're not in a playoff drought, that's the point. Is not whether you can get in the playoffs. Which teams in the NHL make the playoffs as their goal? One? I mean, really, that's not everybody's goal. The goal is to win it all. And so you want to, I think, look at your roster and be objective as objective as you can be about it, and then say, well, is this a team that's capable of winning a championship? Now, I don't know that I want to say the Sabres are exactly capable of winning the Stanley Cup, but it's pretty close in the conference, and they are a team whose goal is to make the playoffs, or was, if it isn't anymore. Like, they're not in yet. So it's always, this is what's interesting about it all. Like in football too, all sports, teams with their different calculuses, if that's the right word, calculi, on just sort of what, welcome to the show, calculi, what their vision is. If I'm Florida, screw it. I don't have to sell anybody. Maybe I want to. A guy's on an expiring contract and he's not really helping me. There's always merit to that, but I don't have to really do anything. I could die in game 82 and have a parade because of the run that I've been to the finals 3 times in a row.
Right.
So that's one. Toronto is in between the Sabres and the Panthers, where they've had playoff appearances, lots of them, haven't really gotten anywhere. If you're at the end of your life cycle as a group, then you could, last night was bad for them.
And the night before even. They've lost back-to-back games in Tampa and then Florida.
Right.
And that's a team that I think should be real about what they've been all year, because all year they have been this team. If you watch them in October and November, and then watch them again, the last couple of nights or before the break, they're not good. They don't have it. They do not have what they've had in years past. Losing Marner took a lot out of what their fastball was. And with that said, they're a team, an organization that has spent year over year with that core trying to find another pitch, because just scoring wasn't going to be enough. We need more grit. We need more toughness. We need more whatever it is that Marner, Nylander, Matthews, and Tavares don't represent. We need more of that. We need more of not those guys. And, it's not working out. The goaltending has not been stable, and they've had big injuries. And to me, it's still close enough. They're 9 points behind where the Sabres are right now. I guess, and that makes them 8 points out of a wild card spot, because Boston is still holding that down, and they're a point behind Buffalo. So could they win a couple games between now and next Friday and feel like we're within striking distance? Probably, but that's an organization that for the first time in a long time, Toronto, that should be looking in the mirror going, we don't have it. I don't know that they will because of the market they're in, but they should look at themselves and go, we don't have it.
How do you feel about the timing of the deadline? Is there enough time to convince teams like the Leafs or the Panthers that it's too late? You'll have 20 games left, about.
Yeah.
And maybe that when you're 9 points out, we did the 10-game winning streak dance back when Kevin Adams was still the GM, and, ha ha ha. Then they went and did it and caught up. They caught up from a deficit like this, or even a lesser one, by winning 10 in a row. Is that what Toronto is looking at, or Philadelphia is looking at? Like, would the math look the same way to them? Because when Paul was talking about a 10-game winning streak when the Sabres had 60 games left, like, come on. They really don't need 10 straight. They kind of did.
Just to get in it.
They did. And now there's 24 left, and they're a few points ahead. They've won since then. They haven't won, a long winning streak since then, but still, they've kept up. Wednesday was big. Wednesday was like, this is an even game, and to get a regulation win in a game like that, like we got one more play than the Devils did. Like, those are the ones I think that kind of make the difference at the end of the season, when you can win those boring games where nothing really happens,
right?
And you still get 2 points.
Just get a couple of great plays from your best guy, and you get home. Your goalie makes some big saves, and that's a road win. Thanks for coming.
Well, you mentioned Quinn. Isn't it always Quinn?
Yeah.
Like, he's everybody's name for this. He power play minutes. I don't know. Do you think the Sabres would think the same way of him as the guy like that would be movable, or is he maybe by his usage seemingly more important to them than that? Like, is he somebody that they would not want to relinquish as opposed to like a Hellenius or someone like that who I would like to see back up here? Like, I'm ready for him to come back, and I don't want to see him traded.
Right. I said same. I mean, that's why when I mentioned Quinn, I think I even said, like, there's young guys I don't want. Osland and Helenius to me are the guys at the top of the list. Assuming you're also, not willing to trade, Tuck or Tom, whatever, the big guys, the mainstays.
Which that's out.
But yeah, of course. Yeah. Like that is not happening. So I think it's so obvious that it took us 10 minutes of this conversation to even mention his name. So I don't know that they're going to get him signed, but I cannot imagine a scenario where they're trading him with the year that they're having and even he's having. So yeah, Quinn is it, and it feels to me because when I watch and I'm not sure if the numbers back this up. I just feel like he is all around play. Like he is the guy that I worry the most about. Like defensively, does he have it? So, I might not get a perfect guy if I go try to trade for someone who's an upgrade in scoring for him. But at least maybe I'd get more scoring if I'm still going to have someone who's a bit of a defensive concern. So, like that to me is the one, because he's in between enough. He's not as young and promising anymore as Helenius or Osland, at least in my opinion. And he never really graduated to like what Peterka was before he got traded away, or what the guys at the top of the lineup are. He's sort of in between, right? He's young 20s, but he's not the core. He's not a up and comer anymore. Like you feel like you got a baseline of what and who he is. And with all that said, he has reclaimed enough of his career. Like it looked for a little while after the leg injuries, back-to-back leg injuries, like I was worried about him being,
useful at all.
Useful at all, right. Mm-hmm. And I think he's managed to do that. So I don't feel like I don't have a crisis there, but if I could get better there, I would dip into my stuff, my picks, my prospects, and see what I can shake loose.
It's so much fun being on the other side of this for once.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to
not thinking at all about selling anyone here.
Yeah.
There's just not. It's not. They're far enough in. While they don't have it made. Right. It's 5 points still. I feel like they're safe enough that I don't have to even think about Alex Tuck. It's not. If they were on the edge, if they were Ottawa right now or Washington, 5 points back is what Washington is. Ottawa's a little further. What do I want to do? Do I want to go? Do I want to add? Do I want to keep going? Do I want to divest myself of Tuck? What do I do? I think being where they are in the standings takes Tuck completely off the table.
Yes, and that is such an awkward position, especially, again, if you're in that playoff drought, and you might think it's just worth more to make it because you haven't in so long. Your fan base is so desperate, and maybe your job status and everything like that. Well, compared to other years, they're not going to be sellers, obviously, but what we were talking about with them last year at this time, as I remember it, wasn't so much trades as it was speculation that they would keep veterans, and we didn't always think they should because they, quote, wanted to be here, that stuff with Adams. That was Jason Zucker, and, Samuelson was already signed, but we wanted to be done with Samuelson.
Greenway was an extension last year, too. Yeah,
that's right. And so far, Adams isn't around for it, but he and they have gotten paid off.
Zucker certainly has been a very important part of the team. Greenway, I like him when he's there, but holy cow, this has been a lost year for him. So they went 1 for 2 on those 2 veteran extensions, I'd say.
You're forgetting how interesting he was when he was mic'd up.
Mm-hmm.
That's always